My friends, hello and welcome to The World Is Not Enough SpeedLore. Indeed, the series where we examine the history of speedrunning the video game The World Is Not Enough for the Nintendo 64, and the speedrunners who set records in the game. Now, certainly, there's been less competition in this game than GoldenEye or Perfect Dark, but believe it or not, there still is certainly enough to do SpeedLore episodes. And really what inspired me to go ahead with TWINE SpeedLore, and it's actually an unbelievable situation that's going to unfold. I made this video here a few months ago, an iceberg, The World Is Not Enough iceberg, useless facts, 007, The World Is Not Enough iceberg. And I was like, you know what? There actually is enough material to do The World Is Not Enough SpeedLore. That's going to be pretty cool. I'm going to do it. What happened next genuinely is so shocking and surprising. I don't think a single person will predict what has occurred. But something unbelievable happened, and we're going to reveal a large part of that in tonight's episode, Turncoat. So if you're here from the get-go, baby, you're going to want to stay to the end because something truly remarkable happens. Honestly, up there with the most shocking things to ever happen on SpeedLore. That's not a joke. Something crazy is going to be revealed tonight in hopefully about an hour and a half. So, let's get into it. Turncoat, the stage, it is the 11th stage out of 14 in this game. And let's watch this playthrough. It's from the icon himself, Grazlu00, and his The World Is Not Enough N64 Turncoat 00 Agent playthrough. And the objectives here we can see are, and it's a good level because there's only these 4 objectives. There's nothing beyond this. Pursue bullion, don't let him get away. Rescue the hostages. Christmas must survive. Avoid innocent casualties. And so what ends up happening is through the course of the game, Bullion is Valentin's driver. He becomes the Turncoat. We learn of it in the opening cutscene of the stage. He tries to, explode all of you. Doesn't succeed. You pursue him. There's hostages on the way, and if you're too slow, Bullion can get away, or they'll just eliminate Christmas. If any civilian gets hit once, you fail Objective D, innocent casualties. So it's actually quite challenging. It's a lot less forgiving than, say, Streets or Facility in GoldenEye. So let's take a look. And yes, hello to all those in chat, entering David Sutton quest for 4, Era Air, Young Toady, everybody else.
That's a GPS signal. It must be M, using the locator card from the bomb.
There's the funny thing where it shows Bond twice because it's preparing to put him in the next scene right here.
The signal is coming from here.
Maiden's Tower.
There's Bullion leaving.
Bomb!
Huge explosion.
I've got to stop Bullion warning Renard.
Renard's the main bad guy. Bullion's gonna go warn him. Let's see how Grazlu plays Turncoat 00 Agent. It's pretty intense. It's a difficult level. And believe it or not, we only are gonna have one 00 Agent speedrun after this. So Grazlu's gonna go up the ladder where you're gonna find a spare weapon, which is the Wolfram P2K, which is sort of this game's version of the PP7. 2 guards will come here. He's expended them pretty okay. I mean, it's a tough game. And, in fact, there's no auto-aim in this game. On 00 Agent, that is. See, he's sitting to aim back. This is a very powerful weapon, the Magnum. So luckily you can really just one-shot guys. But yeah, 00 Agent, no auto-aim, making it very, very difficult. A couple more guys will come in here. If you're even a little bit slower than this, you'll get a message on screen being like, speed up, Bullion's gonna get away. There, he's around the corner. So he's making fine pace in terms of what the game finds acceptable. And the guards that spawn here are actually kind of semi-random, and they drop different weapons too. So sometimes you'll be running through the stage, speedrunning it, and you'll have different weapons, you know, almost every run. You know, there's a group of 4 or 5 different weapons you get, but it can change on each run. So you might not always have the same thing when you're going to this room, and now he's freeing the hostages. Now the worst part is that girl, that hostage who's just freed, if that guy up top shoots her, just inadvertently trying to aim at you, and look at her pushing you down, you'll fail. So it's a very, very finicky stage, and a lot can go wrong at every turn. That one's out, but there's another guard here who can easily cause her to fail. And the guy up there. Like, imagine playing Frigate 00 Agent, but if a hostage gets hit by any shot, you'd fail. It'd be unbelievable. Okay, Bullion's still going there. He's really running with his arm pointed out, which is a bit funny. There's a guard out here. Expended. Another one. Now over here, you're gonna actually have to jump over a crevice. Oh, I didn't even know about that guard. I've played this level a few times. You just take the flak of that guard. You can jump over there. I don't think Grassloo got him. So there's another, like, if she gets hit, you fail. Yeah, a lot of them keep the weapon in hand. Hideyoshi in chat mentions how they don't drop it. They keep it in hand until they've, like, fallen off of a building. That civilian often gets hit and failed. And yes, it's just started. It's the first run of the night. The last run is something crazy. So Grassloo's carefully reloading as one would expect. Oh, he just skipped a couple guards, which is good. There was a guard emerging from down the courtyard here. He's giving him a bit of flak from behind. Good shots. 1 or 2 more guards deep in here. It's really such a great kind of B-tier N64 game with a lot of empty space, but it makes it kind of like picturesque and liminal, which I always love. So there's hostages here, which, like, man, that guy easily could have got hit here. He can get hit now. That was really good movement by Grassloo to get in the corner to avoid the hostage from failing, frankly. Another one here. Oh, got him. There's gonna be 2 more hostages. There's a lot of hostages compared to, say, Frigate or Defense on Perfect Dark. But he took a lot of damage in that corner upstairs, and now look, he had full body armor, full health, and he's down to about half health. 1 more hostage there, that should do it. A lot of indistinct yelling noises. He's gonna come out here, he's gonna run to the end now. That's it, it's that simple. He's gonna pop in here, go to the end. And Grassloo's gonna do it. I think only the right door opens. Like, it's kind of a weird game like that.
Remember, M's life is on the line.
And see, there's the warning, because he's taking a bit slow. They need to be freed, Hideyoshi. So Grassloo got it. And he completed, and there's a lot of cutscenes here, which you'll watch.
Drop your gun, or the lovely doctor dies. Zukowski doesn't like to be double-crossed. I've got a new boss now. Miss King would like to see you.
And then we see the nuclear submarine emerging underneath Istanbul for all sorts of unusual things to occur. Secret key under Maiden's Tower. My goodness, what could it be?
Captain Nikolai.
Sir, ready to load your car.
Excellent.
time to settle our account.
That's so rude.
The reactor is secure. Everything is going as planned. This is the end.
No, this is the beginning. The world will never be the same again.
Oh my goodness. Let's see what time Grassloo got. .506. All right, 506. Not bad at all. A very solid run, very clean run. Thanks to Grassloo. He's, we've often identified players who have these kind of, basic playthrough of the stage to introduce the stage in SpeedLore, and Grassloo is probably going to be that guy for TWINE SpeedLore. So huge thanks to him. And yes, the cart is blue. You probably keep my lighting in this room is a bit unusual, but here's the cart. I have it in hand. TWINE. The world is not enough. 007. Blue cartridge. One of 4 or 5 games with blue cartridges. I used to know them all. I don't know it offhand tonight, but pretty cool. And yeah, I think the as Ratty Paulberts mentions in chat, the PAL cartridges might have been gray, but anyways, yeah, Tony Hawk. There was a Tony Hawk Pro Skater that was blue, Hydro Thunder maybe, and a couple of others. There's Earthworm Jim was yellow or green. Anyways, I should make a community post about it sometime. It'd be kind of interesting. Okay, so here's the situation at hand. We have a few archived web pages of old rankings systems of The World Is Not Enough, but they're not. Most of the videos don't exist. You see. So here's a rankings page, and obviously I'm assuming many of you know by now that in the game, the community, the Elite.net, which ranks Perfect Dark and GoldenEye, they never had an official rankings for The World Is Not Enough. There would be a couple of side rankings, like this one from October 2002 was probably, it was archived in March. It was archived in October 2002, but it was updated in March 2002. It was probably manually updated. Like, literally some guy on GeoCities to some, in different accents, would update a page manually, have to type it all in. And in this update from March 2002, we see that purportedly the record on Turncoat Double Agent is 259 by Wouter Jansen. It's very possible that Wouter had made that video at some point. He made a lot of his videos, but it's been lost to time. In this update from March 2004, we see the record on Turncoat is a 217 by Boss. That's pretty notable, I would say. Pretty fascinating. 217. This one is from August 07, and we see it's still 217 by Boss. We see that Henrik has started to appear on the scene and started to get some records. That big HN is Henrik Nordgren Weister. But 217 by Boss is what's here. Again, unfortunately, if we dug that up, it would be unbelievable, but that 217's been lost to time. So what's the one and only Turncoat Double Agent record we have? Well, it is something like Henrik, and it's quite an improvement from that 217, actually. This is literally the one and done record. If I show you the speedrun.com rankings after this, it's quite something to see. So we're going to watch this run, and in fact, we must... Well, it's not a tool-assisted speedrun, Mr. Yachterage in chat, Sterling. This is a legitimately played run, not a tool-assisted. And it's the one and only world record on the stage. So we're going to dedicate this run to our SpeedLore champion. And this one goes out to our pal, David Oak. A huge thanks to you, David O. A huge thanks for supporting SpeedLore on Patreon. And yeah, let's check out this amazing speedrun by Henrik, Turncoat Double Agent, and see what he gets. And yes, take care, Obamacare. Good to see you in chat, as always. And we see Henrik right here skipping that first weapon that Grassloo climbed the ladder to get. Obviously, you're speedrunning, you want to kind of skip things. And he's just strafing through it, taking all these shots and flak, which is quite difficult. It's going to be a very hard level to survive. Kind of like a Silo 00 or Dam 00 or Train 00. And even you do get a body armor, but it's still quite difficult. Like, easily that hostage could have been hit. Now watch very carefully here. He was expecting a hostage there, but the hostage was not there. There is that hostage who's been released successfully, and he got the body armor. But that's something that I found when playing the level myself, is that sometimes some of the hostages who are supposed to be there are just not there. And the game hasn't been studied enough to know if this is like a lag thing, a random thing, or what. But there's a good jump that Henrik just made. And here he's going to strafe over to the edge here, jump over here. That's a bit of a shortcut. He uses a secondary function on that weapon to shoot a grenade launcher, basically, to take out some guards. We can see his health is depleting pretty quickly. He's almost out of body armor now. Climbing up, and we can see he's playing it, I would say, relatively carefully. Wow, he blast. That was like a quintuple blast of the shotgun. Another secondary function. You can do something like pressing... Oh my goodness, that was kooky. By pressing like B and A to get the secondary function on each weapon in this game. Many of them have it. Oh my god, he's into red health. He needs to get one more hostage through the door to the end. Oh my, oh my. Barely made it. Oh my goodness. 203. Turncoat, 00 Agent, 203. A pretty... It's the one and only world record. Untied world record when set. Extremely difficult level to survive, so I use a somewhat safe strategy. Definitely very improvable, but I'm pretty happy with this. And yeah, it's the one and only, baby. So, like, Turncoat, 00 Agent, only run submitted, only run that still exists. You know, he probably had a few runs in between. This was done in November 2013. Weister probably had a few completions before, you know, getting down to 203 from bosses 217. But it's the only surviving one. So that's, I would say, pretty interesting. And I think after we watch some secret agent runs, we'll kind of take a glance back at this 00 Agent run to just see that it's definitely improvable. I know a lot of people who watch SpeedLore, I know it's inspired a lot of people to start speedrunning a game. And, you know, we can argue about the qualities of speedrunning and the usage of time. But suffice to say that if you wanted to get a world record in this game, this 203 is from 2013, you know, and it's beatable. Like, it's absolutely beatable. There's many times when Henrik broke strafe, ran forward, carefully shot. Something under 2 minutes is definitely possible, probably even lower. So just keep that all in mind as we move forward. Here's a really cool run we've dug up. So again, let's look at the rankings now for Secret Agent. So at this point in October 1602, you know, the March 02 update, the record on Turncoat's Secret Agent, or Special Agent, is it special or secret? I actually contend this, but who knows. I think the Perfect Dark Guy made this and called it Special Agent, frankly. Turncoat 202 by PP. PP was... I'm not even sure who the player PP is. I want to say something like Pernicious Plum, but I could be wrong about that. So, like, there's no surviving video of Turncoat 202 by PP. By 05, we have this alleged 159 of Big Boss Man. And in 07, it's still 159 by Big Boss Man. Believe it or not, it's one of the very few Big Boss Man records that we still have video footage of, which is pretty sick. So we're going to watch Boss beat Turncoat Secret Agent in 159, and we're going to dedicate this one to our SpeedLore champion, Mr. Moxie. A huge thanks, Moxie, to all your support over the years. A true SpeedLore champion. Let's watch Boss's Turncoat Secret Agent 159, baby. So let's see here, he's going to jump on top of the car for a more direct route and skip the guards on top of this car, skipping the guards again, doing a lot of lasering. And we can see already he's done so much more skipping and taken less flak than Henrik on Double O Agent. But he's going to try to shoot out some guards here. You can just imagine Boss playing this in like 04, 05. You know, he's just become the Perfect Dark and GoldenEye dual champion. He's low on health already. Pretty insane. So there's one hostage, two hostages. He's got him, got the body armor, he's moving on. You could do this 100 times, and the hostages will take some flak and pass away, and you'll fail. And that's just part of the mission. He's got this weapon, the Deutsch SA-900, which is not something we saw Henrik use, or Grassloo use. Kind of a sniper. And then we can see he's moving at a much faster clip than Henrik. He doesn't do the above skip there, though. He doesn't do the jump off the ledge. It was probably not known at the time, because, you know, Boss got this sometime between 02 and 05. Jumps up the ladder. The thing with jumping in Twine is you have to use the D-pad. And so imagine playing GoldenEye or Perfect Dark with 1.2 control style, but then also having to use the D-pad to jump. It's quite difficult. Some good hostage saves here. Good hostage saves. Another one. The auto-aim helps immensely here. Goes through the door. And he's got, you know, not a lot of health, but a lot more health than Henrik had. 159, Secret Agent. And so, yeah, look, Secret Agent on the end screen. So that initial archived rivalry page was slightly inaccurate. Now, anyways, but I mean, good on them for preserving it. It's a very useful tool for me. So thanks to whoever made that rivalry page back in the day and privately hosted it. What does Weister say? I found a bunch of old Twine videos on my hard drive and decided to upload them. That's 2013. Amazing that this was preserved. A huge thanks to Weister for finding this and uploading it. You just wonder how many of these Twine runs have been lost over the years. But one key takeaway is that it's the same run and the same level. Agent is a bit different because there's fewer hostages, if any. You know, when we get into Agent, you'll see Agent. But, you know, Boss comes in here, clears out these two hostages up this is the bathhouse section. And that one's almost always there. This one sometimes isn't there. And so in theory, on Secret Agent, you might be able to just skip that one. Hope you get the lucky load or lucky spawn. And it's not something that's been explained. And, you know, this game, the speedrunning history of it, the developments and strategies are still so kind of fundamental era before a lot of strategies and levels have been solved. So what causes that you know, right-hand corner hostage to be there or not on Secret Double O Agent is unknown. And obviously, if she's not there, it saves a lot of time. Now, this is out of order, but the next run I'm going to show on Secret Agent is my own run. I got this back in March when I was playing and making that iceberg, creating the Year of Twine. It's July now. Is it too late for the Year of Twine or the Twine Renaissance? Maybe. Now, Henrik has a time much better than this. But on the speedrun.com rankings, this is the second best time. And of existing videos, it's the second best video that exists. Second fastest video. I used strategies from Agent and Secret Agent. So we're going to watch it. I'll mostly let it play through, and you can hear my commentary on it. I will dedicate this speed run, this epic speed run, to a SpeedLore champion. And this one's going to go to our pal Soul O'Rock. A huge thanks to Soul O'Rock for supporting SpeedLore on Patreon. Much appreciated. And yeah, let's watch this, the second fastest known Turncoat Secret Agent completion. A keen eye will notice, I'll point this out before I speak over myself. The bottom left is an edit of an image I made. It's the legendary Cowan Haynes and a friend in Iowa in an Iowa field image but I've edited in young J.D. Vance from a famous urinal image. He's in the bathroom. A bunch of his, girl college or high school mates are pretending to. I'm sure you've seen I'm sure you've seen it on, various parts of the internet. And it looks like he just fits right in as kind of a 90s, 2000s older brother core gamer. Although I know he was not actually an older brother, he was a younger brother. He had one older sister, according to his memoir, Hillbilly Elegy. Anyways, enough of that. Let's get into the Twine Secret Agent speedrun. It was a windy day. I want to do it. I want to do, the origin of Mark Rutsu as, a whole season-long speed lore. We're getting 64-kilometer wind gusts. Holy shit. Now, the thing about that is, I want to go, through his, forum. Not anything too stupid. I'll give people grace. I won't show their, absolutely demented forum posts. But, the origins of Mark Rutsu, the growth of Mark Rutsu, the depths of Mark Rutsu, the Mark Rutsu incident, the ultimate truth of Mark Rutsu, the return of Mark Rutsu, the second return of Mark Rutsu, the finale. So, I do want to do these as, a whole speedlore, season-long series. And I will. I genuinely plan on doing it this year. There's one hostage. On the second, I kind of did a more roundabout thing. Come on, this could be it. There's always so much insanity going on in this game. That's true. So I go for the jump here. Boss didn't do this. He didn't know about it in the 2000s, early 2000s. Come on. Oh my god, that was weird as hell. I think I missed a B press there. Oh, this is very bizarre. So that's a more modern technique. So if I can jump in the grate smoothly, I have a chance at this. There's that. That was good. It's getting intense. Oh. Kind of botched the ending. Could be 159. Oh, God. I think I watched the whole cutscene. Yeah, pretty much homegrown. I'm going to skip the whole cutscene because we've seen it a bunch of times. It saves us a minute. And, yeah, this was before I decided to do Twine SpeedLore. I was entertaining the idea of doing it one person at a time, like Mark Rutsu lore, for example. But here we are. Let's take a look. I could have got lower. I could have got I could get a perfect run like this. We got 150, 156, and then so with the vase jump, even a bit lower. But 158 is pretty solid. That's second place. So I would have second, and Boss would have third at 159, which is cool. Which is the Renaissance. Should I keep playing? Nah, I'll do Agent. The record on 00 is 203, and so maybe I could get Turncoat 00. There's no auto aim is the insane thing. I really want to see someone get the Turncoat 00 record. I really do. But hey, and yeah, so I achieved on stream March 6th. Purportedly the second fastest completion ever seriously submitted and uploaded. Well, I've kind of, we see here behind only Henrik's 153, the known world record. So that's the next one we're going to see is Henrik's 143. Let's take a look at that. How could 5 seconds come off it? But we're going to find a way, my friends, and we're going to watch Henrik's Turncoat Secret Agent world record. And we're going to dedicate this one to a speedlore champion. And this one's going to go out to none other than FC Bojangles. A huge thanks to you, FC Bojangles, for your support of SpeedLore on Patreon. Let's watch Henrik's Turncoat Secret Agent 153, baby. This is a really good run. Especially he got this in like 2013. We're going to learn when there were a little bit of bouts of activity, because we're going to rewatch one of my produced videos at about 1.5 speed a little bit later on. And we're going to kind of learn the eras of Twine competition. Well, that guard's speech was kill him, which is pretty aggressive. Okay, so Henrik has the 2 hostages here. Cleanly gets them free. And again, this is fundamentally, the objectives are the exact same as Double Agent. So we already know the time here is 153. You could, in theory, get 153.00, and the record's 203. And so it really, really shows you how significant this all is. Gus Goat in chat asks, are there any forward or back boosts? The answer is yes. And they do work essentially the same as GoldenEye, but more like Perfect Dark. We can see Henrik didn't do the sort of double jump up the ladder there, which wasn't known about when he got this in 2013. So maybe he could have saved half a second there. And yeah, as far as the boosts go, it's like... Oh, so Henrik did the vase jump on this 153. So the vase jump was known about. There's a vase there that you can get enough height to barely jump over the fence, but I only hit it like 10% of the time. It's not very easy to do, especially at the end of the run. Now, Henrik and others might have a higher success rate than me, but it's not an easy thing to do.
Zukrowski doesn't like to be double-crossed. I've got a new boss now. Miss King would like to...
153, baby. Great run by Henrik. And indeed, if we look here on Secret Agent, that is the known record. Only these 2 times submitted. In my clip earlier, I mentioned 3 guys who were a moderator. One of them, I guess, knew, and I'm not going to name him again. One of them, I guess, knew it was the year of Twine and wanted to delete his online footprint and just deleted his speedrun account, left as a moderator, deleted all his videos. Alas, and he actually had a good record on some stage. Yeah, I'm just noticing that now. Hide Yoshi in chat points out that I submitted my run as 1 hour 58 minutes. So I'm gonna have to go into speedrun.com and edit that. Good catch, Hide Yoshi. Thank you for catching that. That's pretty silly of me. Okay. Wow. That's really funny. And it's still the second best time, hilariously enough. So there you go. Okay. So we've covered Double Agent, we've covered Secret Agent. Agent is where things get kooky. I have how many tabs? I used to love counting the tabs. 5, 6, 7, 8, at least 9 tabs. I have 9 more runs to show, or like 8, yeah. So like Agent, things are gonna get more cooked than, I don't know what you guys are thinking or expecting. Things are gonna get insane in a few moments here. Okay, the March 02 update archived of this Twine rivalry. We see Turncoat is allegedly 155 agent by Jugador J3, longtime Perfect Dark speedrunner, a close personal friend of Carl Jobst of the infamous Jobst versus Mitchell case. And J3 was very good at pioneering strategies in Perfect Dark, so it makes sense that he would, you know, identify a few levels, come up with new strats, and you know, submit some good times in Perfect Dark. And we see his name come up a few times. The 05 update, we see bosses down to 152 here on Agent. And the 07 update, it's now 152 by boss and Henrik. We are actually, I'm going to skip one run. It was kind of more of a basic agent run, and we're going to watch Henrik's 152 here. So that's already lower than the secret agent record that we've seen, and because there's no hostages on agent. So let's just watch Henrik's 152 agent. And in fact, we will dedicate this run, a significant, historic, first substantiated world record on the difficulty, to a SpeedLore champion. And this one's going to go to our pal Noah. A huge thanks to you, Noah, for your support of SpeedLore on Patreon. And a huge thanks to all the SpeedLore champions and supporters. But this one in particular goes out to Noah. Let's take a look.
007, Zukovsky's driver Bullion planted the bomb. Don't let him get away.
So we see a lot of this is going to be more, instead of like trying to survive or precisely shoot out guards, like Turncoat 00 Agent is kind of more like, a Silo 00 or a Dam 00. It's like a survival level that's kind of complicated with a lot of objectives. Turncoat's Secret Agent is very parallel to like Frigate's Secret Agent. Like, you're not gonna... Okay, so we see here there's no hostages. You can just strafe right through the bath. The Turkish bath. Oh, to be in Istanbul in a Turkish bath. Who wouldn't love that? Turncoat Secret Agent, I would say, is a lot like Frigate Secret Agent. A lot of strafing through tight and advanced movement, freeing hostages. But, like, Turncoat Agent is very, like... almost like Caverns Agent. It becomes like a strafing level. Just strafe as crisply and cleanly through a relatively complicated course as you can, and see what happens. And it's a huge shout out to those in chat, Lemon Jack and Shoddy Snipes. Welcome to chat, my friends. A pleasure to see anyone in chat. So here's Henrik. No vase jump on this 152. Again, this 152 was done in like 07-ish, when Henrik first started playing the game. Almost died in its agent. Can you believe that? Almost passed away in its agent. But he survived. And, this is from 07, so no vase jump yet. Henrik gets 152. Not a bad time at all. Pretty solid. A huge congratulations to him and that run. So, what happens next? I guess if we really had to suggest these eras of Twine, because like most basic early era, the game just came out, we're within 2 years of it coming out, early times. Boss plays in like 04-05, Henrik plays in 07, and then Henrik kind of played again in 2013-ish and got a bunch of records. Those are sorts of eras of Twine. And there might be another era a little bit later on that we're going to get into. But, so, again, that 152 was from 07-ish. One of my old Twine videos, tied record when set. What we're going to do is watch now Henrik's 2013 improvement, which is quite a significant improvement. I'm assuming he'll use the vase jump. How much time does that save? What will the end time be? Let's just take a look. Let's just watch the run, baby.
007, Zukovsky's driver Bullion planted the bomb. Don't let him get away.
So we see good jumping, strafing. I mean, literally, the main improvement might be the vase jump. And as someone mentioned in chat earlier asked about boosts and back boosts, it's possible Henrik might like get some boosts here. They're not like as significant as GoldenEye. They're sort of on par with Perfect Dark. Like the idea of boosts and back boosts is there, but because you take a lot of flack, a lot of them kind of aren't that significant. Well, like you could still get a lucky, like almost chained boost and save a bit of time. So like that was, you could kind of see a forward boost there, but also kind of a bit of a flacky back boost on the way out. Good jump. And you can fall short there and fall off. That's the thing in the World's Not Enough, is you can totally fall off ledges and stuff, and you pass away falling from a great height. Well, that guy said kill him again. Pretty insane. Like, really hard to tell what the boosts are. Henrik. Okay, here we go. So he's now figured out the ledge ladder jump. So that saves a bit of time. And then the vase jump is probably also going to save a bit of time. Really clean vase jump. Almost dead, though. On Agent. Like, this is so aggressive. It's Agent, man. So how much time do those two jumps save and maybe some cleaner strafing?
Drop your gun, or the lovely doctor dies.
We're down to 149. Okay, the record is now Turncoat Agent 149. Pretty epic stuff. Okay, what happens next? This is where things starting to percolate, okay? We've basically seen the history of Turncoat to this point, but I would say most Twine stages would have a similar speedlore trajectory as this. And when I first suggested doing TWINE SpeedLore, I thought that's not really enough for a full episode. It might be. This episode might already be like 40 minutes. Like, those could work, even on the stage with less lore. But we're about to get into it now. Things change significantly. So again, this time was achieved October 1st, 2013. Right? Pretty remarkable. A long time ago. Untitled record when set. So then I come along and start making videos, right? This is my main channel. And I come along and I want to talk about, frankly, all the time I've spent playing video games and at least make something out of all that commitment and all the stuff I've learned and followed. So in mid-2018, and a huge welcome to Sularok in chat. I actually did your speedlore dedication already, my friend. It was to a great run. I'm sure you'll catch it, but a welcome to you in chat. Always a pleasure to see our speedlore champions in the chat room. In mid-2018, I made this video on the right. Why does no one speedrun this game? Or the Odyssey of the Lost VHS tapes. Now, in it, I probably gave too much credence to no one speedrunning the game because of a pause abuse trick that breaks the game. Well, a lot of games have things that break them, and yet people still play. So, you know, is it really that significant? It's somewhat significant. But I paint a picture of how the game had much less competition for one reason or another. It was much less beloved as GoldenEye. But the key was this was mid-2018. Whenever you do something like this, you always sort of get a side effect of people play the game. Oh, no one's played the game? I'm going to play it. And we're going to learn more about someone who played the game in that era in another video we're going to watch right here. This one. Mysterious speedrunner breaks records, then vanishes without a trace. Okay, we're going to watch this video at about time and a half because it's paramount to the lore of this stage. And we're going to watch like 13 minutes of it. So here we go.
Here we go.
My friends, the online world can be a dangerous place, with countless scammers or bad actors targeting the personal information of any unsuspecting user for their own personal gain. Yet many internet users recklessly throw around security and anonymity to the wind in exchange for being connected with friends and sharing thoughts, desires, and personal stories with any who will listen. When it comes to gaming and speedrunning, social status and personal connections often add credibility to amazing world record scores. Seeing runners compete live at events or getting to know them on stream every night adds a sense of credibility and, frankly, humanity to their efforts. It feels as though these records were set by a real person with real goals and on a real journey through speedrunning. But what happens when a speedrunner comes along who sets incredible world records in a game, who maintains their anonymity, leaving absolutely no detectable trace of who they are, where they're from, or if they even exist at all? This is one such story of the speedrunner from nowhere who set incredible records and then vanished without a trace. This is the true story of BoPeep. This story, in a way, begins in May 2018 when I uploaded this video about why no one speedruns The World Is Not Enough, a James Bond FPS for Nintendo 64. A few reasons for this were that the game was never as popular as GoldenEye 007, most people didn't think the game was as good as GoldenEye, and most centrally to that video, there is a pausing trick which absolutely breaks one of the levels in the game. Now in truth, the use of no one in the title of that video was more figurative than literal, as there had been a small handful of people who did speedrun Twine, a group who agreed to disallow the use of the game-breaking pausing trick and play the game really without many major glitches. And by a small handful, I mean few enough that you could count them on one hand, maybe two hands at most. Henrik Weister Norgren was one of these runners, an accomplished GoldenEye speedrunner in his own right. While Twine doesn't play exactly the same, the skill is fairly transferable, and so Weister at one point was able to acquire all 42 of the game's single-level speedrun world records, 14 stages with 3 difficulties each, Agent, Secret Agent, and Double Agent. There had been a small number of other GoldenEye and Perfect Dark speedrunners who dabbled in Twine over the years, setting decent records. And I do mean decent. Not optimized in the same way as GoldenEye's records, but good enough where a completely new player would have to spend 100 or so hours to refine their skill to the point where they could match or beat most of these records. An analogous example might be something like Mickey's Speedway USA, which, while less played than Mario Kart 64 or Diddy Kong Racing, has pretty decent world records too, because there are enough people with transferable skill who dabbled in it for long enough. So that being said, Weister's sweep was pretty solid, and the small handful of runners who played or were interested in Twine speedruns would hang out in a very small Discord server, occasionally sharing videos or strategy ideas as you do. However, in early 2018, things would change drastically. Another speedrunner, Mavelock, came along and beat at least one of Weister's records, the City of Walkways 2 level Double Agent in 2 minutes 1 second. Mavelock had also tied a number of Weister's records and was quickly becoming a solid number 2 speedrunner in the game. It seemed like a new rivalry may have been percolating away in this fairly obscure speed game. However, Mavelock is not the central figure in this video. No, in June 2018, another individual would come along and stun onlookers with something that has often been theorized, but rarely actually happens. Could there be someone out there who doesn't interact with a speed game community, who has numerous world records in a game, keeping them quietly to themselves?
Could it be? I don't know.
A few weeks after I uploaded the aforementioned video, Why No One Speedruns The World Is Not Enough, the one guy who did speedrun it, quietly, without telling anyone else, appeared on the scene. He finally decided to post his record scores to the speedrun rankings website, speedrun.com. This speedrunner chose to go by the name BoPeep. On June 19, 2018, BoPeep created an account on speedrun.com for the first time and posted 9 world records, 5 of which were untied. As per his speedrun.com submissions, he claimed most of the records had been played through October 2017 and February 2018. The following day, discussion began in the Twine Discord about the mysterious BoPeep and the records. Adding to the mystery, BoPeep chose not to upload his videos on YouTube, rather opting to upload them on the notorious video hosting site BitChute, known for hosting fringe content and videos that would otherwise be censored from YouTube. This sketched out the other Twine runners as they were unfamiliar with the website, and also these links did not embed properly in speedrun.com's rankings. To investigate further, a speedrun.com moderator for this game posted a message to the Twine forum section of the leaderboard. First off, welcome to the World Is Not Enough speedrunning. Due to the nature of your account, source for video uploading, and you having no history with the community or speedrun.com in general, we have decided to hold your runs from verification. We are neither verifying nor rejecting the runs. We wish to invite you to our Discord server. There, the moderators will discuss how to adequately prove your runs are legitimate. Until such time that these runs are proven legitimate, we will not post them on the rankings. Luckily, BoPeep did see this message and entered the Twine Discord, where discussion would take place about the game, gauging BoPeep's knowledge and legitimacy in these speedruns. The fellow runners tried to convince BoPeep to upload his videos to YouTube, which he got around to doing on June 29th. Speedrunner MW describes, "It took very little prompting for BoPeep to make the YouTube, but he tended to dodge questions about his aversion to it." By this point, after more than a week of interaction, BoPeep was welcomed in and seen as legitimate. I should point out it wasn't simply uploading to YouTube that made him seem as more legitimate, rather interacting with the fellow speedrunners, answering questions, and demonstrating a good level of knowledge in the game. The following week would see likely the most intense speedrunning battle in the history of Twine between the 3 rivals, BoPeep, Weister, and Mavelock, with numerous records being improved, matched, and improved again. For example, on June 30th, Weister matched BoPeep's time on City of Walkways 2 Agent 152. The following day, BoPeep posted a new untied 151, which Weister matched only a few hours later. And later that week, Mavelock would also match the 151, leaving it as the record stands today, a 3-way tie. On June 30th, Weister would match one of BoPeep's original untieds, City of Walkways 2 Secret Agent 156. However, on July 6th, BoPeep posted yet another new untied, lowering this to 155. Weister would match this the following day, July 7th. A number of other records were jockeyed back and forth like this over the week, but suffice to say, things had been pretty intense. Naturally, it would all cool off from there. By this point, Weister had tied most of BoPeep's untied world records, and it seemed like BoPeep might have been done. A week or two would pass, and the fellow runners noticed they hadn't heard from BoPeep in a while. Looking back, they realized his last correspondence on Discord was on July 1st, and the only contact beyond that had been BoPeep posting a couple of new times up to July 6th. On July 22nd, they noticed that BoPeep had deleted his Discord account, his BitChute account, and taken down a Neocities website he'd shared with the TWINE speedrunners. The website, from what Mavelock recalls, simply linked to BoPeep's runs on BitChute and listed a Tutanota email address, a paid email service that purports privacy and end-to-end encryption. Strangely, BoPeep had left up the YouTube account he was so hesitant in making, so as a precaution, Mavelock downloaded all of BoPeep's runs for historical preservation. And that was it. That was the end of the BoPeep saga. A fellow who showed up between June 20th and July 1st and posted his last time on July 6th. Nobody has seen him since, nobody knows where he went, he just vanished into thin air. Disappeared without a trace. To this day, nearly 2 years later, still no one has seen or heard from BoPeep. No more videos have been uploaded to his YouTube channel, no times posted to speedrun.com, and it's unlikely anyone will ever see or hear from this person again. As time passed, Weister would reclaim the record on 41 out of the 42 TWINE stages, but that one remaining level would add deeply to the story.
Alright, so the video goes on to talk about the one BoPeep remaining untied world record, Underground Uprising 115. We will discuss that in a future episode, okay? The point of the matter is that, well, actually, King Mirror's in, you know what? Okay, just because you mentioned that, I'm going to keep playing the video because I do address that in here. There's 6 minutes left at 1.5 speed. Let's keep watching it.
You see, this one remaining unmatched record takes place on a level called Underground Uprising Agent Difficulty, where you basically have to free some hostages, defuse a bomb, and then run to the end. Simple enough. Weister's record for ages was 117, and he had it in mind to someday go for 116, but he never did. When BoPeep appeared on the scene, he claimed an untied world record of a stunning 115, 2 seconds untied, where it remains to this day. A record apparently unfathomably insane, even more insane than some of GoldenEye's best records according to Weister. This is how Weister describes the time, and please note, this isn't a description out of envy or jade. Weister is rational, scientific, unbiased in how he describes speedruns, never writes in hyperbole for shock value or clickbait. This is how Weister describes BoPeep's Underground Uprising Agent 115. Every time you press Z on the bomb to defuse it, a random amount is removed from the blue meter, and a random amount is added to the red meter. If the red meter gets too high, the bomb explodes, failing the mission, and it completes once the blue meter is depleted. This makes it one of the biggest luck fests in any game. I always thought 116 was possible, but it would require many hours of grinding just to get a single completion at this pace. I've never gotten one. Even then, you'd still have to clutch the ending, which normally isn't super hard, but with nerves, it can be a major challenge. Somehow, BoPeep managed to get the most ludicrous bomb defuse ever, 2 seconds faster than anyone else has ever gotten, clutch the ending perfectly, and skip 116. I currently hold 41 out of 42 records in TWINE, but Underground Uprising 115 remains a 2-second untied on Agent. All other records I was able to tie or beat fairly quickly, but this one, I couldn't even get close. I didn't spend that much time on it, I usually don't need to, so it's possible it's not as insane as it seems, but my initial impression is that even 116 would be a grind.
It may have some kind of anti-tampering device built in, so if you attempt to defuse one too quickly, it's likely to explode. It may have some kind of anti-tampering device built in, so if you attempt to defuse one too quickly, it's likely to explode.
So here's where we get into speculation about BoPeep. Some serious, some a little bit more silly and fun, but here you go.
Now, I respect this person's anonymity and won't seriously pursue their identity. However, light speculation has arisen as to who this BoPeep might have been. His unwillingness to create a YouTube account, owned by Google, along with his Tutanota privacy email address, led some to believe he was some kind of member of a fringe community, perhaps a sovereign citizen or free man on the land, who wanted to remain off the grid from Big Brother's watchful eye. Another popular theory teeters on BoPeep's skill in the game. Given just how good BoPeep's strafing and shooting looks, this has led some to believe perhaps this was an alter ego of a top GoldenEye or Perfect Dark speedrunner, who just wanted to blow off some steam, have a laugh, and create a bit of a mystery. This has happened before in GoldenEye and Perfect Dark, with players occasionally making a new profile with a silly name for funsies, but it usually gets caught out pretty quick. You can imagine when a new profile with the name Manuel Pear Rosny or Justin Bieber Ramirez pops up and starts posting near record times, it's pretty obvious it's just someone having a laugh. But in this case, with only minimal interaction with the community, we're not so sure. Another theory comes from his name, BoPeep. Now, no real spoilers, but BoPeep plays a large role in the Pixar film Toy Story 4, after being more of a side character in the previous films. However, Toy Story 4 came out in 2019, a full year after BoPeep's brief arrival to the speedrun scene. This has led some to believe that perhaps BoPeep was someone affiliated with Pixar, perhaps someone who worked there or had inside knowledge about the film. But honestly, this is just wild speculation. Occam's razor would suggest that this was simply a guy who really valued his anonymity online, took steps to make sure no one would ever know who he was, and also just felt like enjoying speedrunning a favorite game from his childhood for a little while. And to be honest, I find that to be a very wholesome and respectable motive. We'll likely never know the real identity of BoPeep, and maybe it's better that way. Nor will we know just how he got so lucky on his underground uprising Agent 115, an untied world record that really may last forever. But it's stories like these, and characters like BoPeep, who make speedrunning such a magical place. So who do you think BoPeep might have been? Do you know any similar stories about mysterious speedrunners who appeared, then disappeared without a trace? If so, let me know in the comments or another way. Thanks for watching, wishing you all the best in health and happiness, stay true, and I'll see you in the next stream, or video.
Okay, epic. So there's the story of BoPeep. Who was he? You know, deleted everything. Surely that's that, right? So I kind of describe these periods of Twine speedrunning. You know, the early days, Boston 05, Henrik 07, Henrik again in 2013, Mavelock a little bit here and there, and then this kind of epic rivalry era where BoPeep comes along in 2018. He was kind of inspired to come along because of my fireside video and post his times, and that initiated a bit of intense back and forth with Henrik and Mavelock, and that's going to be the focus of a lot of the speedlore, of TWINE SpeedLore, quite frankly. So during that period of time, BoPeep tied the 149 Turncoat. And for the sake of this, you know, we might as well watch this. It's a pretty intense quality. You know, this is, again, a speedrunner who, you know, is quite new to speedrunning. I believe this 149 was set in 2017 and then later improved to later attempted to be improved during that kind of intense back and forth with Henrik and Mavelock. And yeah, this is pretty Rootsu vision-y. You know, you gotta imagine, it's someone who is playing for fun, is uncertain they're ever even gonna submit times at all. And they're just sort of recording for their own sake. And it's, you know, it's a crazy thing to think, because you almost wonder about, like, your own manifestation of the world around you. It really gets crazy. You know, we get into these theories of the Matrix and stuff, and is anything real? Is it all in your head? But it's like, clearly, I make that video about why no one speedruns Twine, and then the one guy who did speedrun Twine, BoPeep, comes forward to share his runs. You know, that's... It's just crazy to think about how your own impact on these things. And we see a really clean run. Great vase jump. You know, Hide Yoshi in chat says, I don't think look down saves time in Twine. It seems like an instinct in alt, maybe. But the jumping is such a different mechanic that it's really... It's not that... You know, it really makes it different. You'll have to play with almost 3 hands. Do I have a... It's like... So here's BoPeep's 149 from 2017. It's like you have to play, but then also hit the D-pad to jump, and then look. You know, it's crazy. Looking up and down becomes it's like on a different stick. I think what I was doing is I set jump to up C, but then look up and down was the D-pad. So I could only like press the D-pad when I was on a clean strafe straight away, and it was just really... Anyways, it was crazy. So that was quite a dig, that run. But later on, you know, during this sort of exchange back and forth, we do see BoPeep get you know, an improvement of this time, which is pretty remarkable. Turncoat Agent 148. So he actually got this in January 2018. I'm just looking up on the website now. And then, you know, later on during the rivalry, Henrik would tie it. So we're going to watch BoPeep's 148, and then we're going to watch Henrik's 148.
007, Zukowski's driver Bullion planted the bomb. Don't let him get away.
Let's watch this strafing. Good shot. Kind of some back boosts there, frankly. Like, that was 2 or 3 back boosts from that crouching guard. That guy opens the door for you, always in the right time. Prevented a back boost there. Those are kind of forward-ish, but not really. Bit of look down here. Quite a lot of look down. Right strafe, left strafe. Strafe changing, you just kind of feels... You know, I've only played briefly, and my time is not as good as BoPeep and Henrik's. But a lot of the strafing feels kind of... if you don't change strafe, it almost feels worse, which is counterintuitive to GoldenEye Perfect Dark. Opens the door. Really clean open. Through the window. Very tight against the wall. Good. A friend watched it and called that the parkour jump. Those two guys are kind of far up, actually. Maybe boosting him forward here. Right strafe, into the hole. Down the hatch. A bit of a back boost there. Really, really nice vase jump. Lasering, avoid some backs, get some forwards. Skip that guy, really clean door, and in. So that was BoPeep's 148 from January 2018. But he wouldn't come forward with any of his times until my video in May 2018, the Fireside. There's 148, very nice. And then when this was revealed, and BoPeep came forward in that era I talked about, Henrik, of course, would go on to tie the 148. And officially, as far as we know, that is the story of Turncoat. 00, Secret, and Agent. We've watched, like, every known run on this stage. Every known speedrun, and we've looked at some other claims in the past in these rivalry rankings. This is it, baby. So Henrik not using as much look down. I mean, this is 2018 now. This is kind of modern era. Henrik's had a lot of experience with tool-assisted speedruns. If he doesn't think look down saves time, then maybe it doesn't. Oh, man. I think that door is openable, and there's like a couple extra rooms you can explore. It's a pretty surreal stage. I really like the stage. Like, you're exploring this, like, empty version of Istanbul. So that hostage civilian was kind of in the way of Henrik's strafe there. Didn't quite get it. A perfect line, at least. Wilster in chat asks, has there been tool-assisted speedruns created for Twine? Yes. Really good vase jump, but not like a completed one. And even I haven't been able to dig up the TASs. But we might eventually find them in due time. So there's Henrik's 148. A really good run. Like, really, really good. And, like, yeah, if we look at the rankings, Turncoat Agent, that's it. I have 151. Benobot's got a 214, no video. Pretty cool. BoPeep, Weister. I I got a 151 when I was playing it. We'll watch the 151 here for completion's sake.
Yeah, I forget how to save with the EverDrive, but I know there's ways to do it. Yeah, honestly, red screens, I think we should all be playing Twine. It's the year of the Twine Renaissance.
Could it still be the year of the Twine Renaissance?
My god, a shot to the face.
I mean, my strafing's a little bit messier. I don't quite know the lines and the, you know...
Good lord.
Again, a shot to the face. Another back boost. Another back boost. Was I using 16:9 here? Widescreen? I might have been. I don't even know. Not even sure. The capture quality is solid, though. I mean, it's a cool game. I like, legitimately, a large part of why I'm doing TWINE SpeedLore is because I do want to see people play it. Jump over there. That easily could have missed. I would have fallen down.
Fucking, I'm going upper route.
This upper route's not even that easy to do. It's, you know,
Come on.
I failed it.
You have to be kidding me, dude. How am I botching this?
Like, I lost probably a second or two there.
Time to vase jump 152. Oh my god.
I really botched.
I've lost it.
The first bit of that level was pretty good.
In the session where like your play goes downhill, there's nothing you can do about it.
Good shot.
Come on, baby.
We're in.
Come on, baby. What is it? What is it? $151.
Not bad.
So I could definitely get 150, maybe 149, which is what the world record was until BoPeep like somehow got 148. But I'll take it as a PB, man. It bops Benno Bot out of third place. Okay, I'm gonna take a quick break and like play Double Agent for.
Okay, so that's, you know, that's Turncoat for you. Let's go back to my channel here for a second, the BoPeep video, because here's the thing. In a way, you know, I do some TWINE speedruns on stream, and I publish this video on the left, Useless Facts 007, The World's Not Enough Iceberg. I was trying to inspire, here in 2025, a sort of next era of TWINE speedrunning. And maybe that's going to be TWINE speedrunning for us. You know, the Boss 05, Henrik 07, Henrik 2013, Big Rivalry 2018, quiet years, and I'm trying to inspire a new era in 2025. So I do some streams and I post this Useless Facts Iceberg back around March. Oh my god, okay. I hope I'm not like overhyping this. Something happened after I posted the TWINE Iceberg that I was like, stopped me dead in my tracks. It was the most shocking message I've ever received in my life. I wake up one day and get an email on March 5th, 2025, and the email starts this. Subject line. Hi, Goose, from BoPeep. And it's an email address at tudamail.com. And it reads this. And, you know, I'm going to take some stuff out. For the sake of the YouTube version, I'll share what I'm reading on screen so you can follow along. The email goes this. Hi, Goose. This is BoPeep. First of all, I want to say thank you very much for your work over the years. I've gotten many, many hours of entertainment from your videos and streams, and it helped me through some rough times. My close friends and family were amazed to see that my TWINE escapades were the topic of a video with 100,000 views on YouTube, so I also have you to thank for that. I used to lurk in your stream all the way back in the Coney 2012 era. I loved your humor. You were the first person to make me realize you didn't have to be a typical nerd to be a speedrunner. So anyways, I would like to provide you with a bit of a backstory about my speedrun career, Twine endeavors, and overall internet motivations. I actually have a fairly long, prolific speedrun history dating back to the pre-2010 era. I speedrun many games under different aliases. I've been involved in Doom, Hitman, and Time Splitters speedrunning communities, along with many others, and have obtained many world records in all these games. I've also achieved many GoldenEye and Perfect Dark times, which I never shared. Maybe most notable to you would be achieving Infiltration Agent 110 in 2018 and being the first to tie the three-way tie between Ace, Clemens, and Carl. This is just too much. I've always been interested in the creative aspect of speedrunning, and how one could somehow tell a different person was playing based on the minutiae of their movement. Like watching that era of Perfect Dark videos, for example, it's clear if it's Ace or Clemens playing. Or even how your Facility Agent 44 looks so much different than Jez's. This to me has always been analogous to how a great chef could cook scrambled eggs in such different and recognizable ways from one another, or how a great golfer can compete at the same level as another while being completely unique in their swing and style. I have mostly always just been interested in playing for myself, trying to prove to myself that I could be good enough to be at the top. Although I've posted many records online for various different games, and many Steam games have automatic leaderboards. Kind of, you know, he's just saying that sometimes his records do end up online, but he mostly plays for himself. He goes on to say, anyway, I want to give some more information about my speedrunning of Twine. I started speedrunning Twine in 2015 because to me it was the most fun of the three Bond-like shooters for the N64. The movement was the most interesting with the addition of jumping and crouching, and there seemed to be a lot of room for improvement in the records. Also, the game did not have the looming 2.x control style apocalypse coming like GoldenEye, or the pause buffering nightmare of Perfect Dark. At least it's banned in Twine. I was able to achieve times I was happy with, and was enjoying the game a lot during this time, until new glitches were found, like the out of bounds on City Walkways 1 and the fence skip on Midnight Departure, things we'll get into in future SpeedLore episodes, but I was content ignoring these levels up until I myself found a new glitch. I watched your newest Twine Iceberg video, and I want to provide you details of this glitch, which is in fact one of the reasons I no longer speedrun Twine, or any game for that matter. I think we've heard that before. This information probably belongs at the bottom of a Twine iceberg. I understand it's ironic to share this information, but I believe someone will eventually discover it anyways. The way lag works in Twine is nuts. Using a combination of the high color mode, cinema screen mode, and items that create lag, such as the flashbang and watch stunner, you can create enough lag that throws cyclical elements of the game off. This includes the subway cycles and underground upraising, my favorite level at the time. What this means in effect is, if you play the game in cinema, high color, generating as much lag as possible by spamming flash grenades and firing the watch stunner, you can pass a faster cycle of the subway, saving upwards of 3 seconds on Agent, making my untied world record of 115 potentially obsolete. I imagine this has huge consequences on other levels in several ways. My fear was that the community would adopt this as the new way of playing the game, much like how in GoldenEye people have adopted 2.x control styles, alternate game versions, and things like practice ROMs, and this would ruin the way I like to play the game. In my eyes, it would take the game from sport or craft into the realm of technical. That or a new category would be created, fragmenting the leaderboards and reducing the player count even more. Okay, this goes on even further. I'm going to get to it even further. But basically, BoPeep comes forward after my iceberg video to be like, hey, by the way, I know of this secret thing that breaks Twine completely, that no one knows about yet, and that I'm revealing publicly now for the very first time. And also, BoPeep wants little part of it because it's going to break his own favorite level and his best world record, and he doesn't want to play GoldenEye Perfect Dark because of similar-ish things. Okay, carry on. This ultimately is one of the reasons I quit speedrunning. I discovered a similar game-breaking bug in another game but on PC. In that case, though, I decided to get the records with the bug. It has directly led to a deterioration of the playability of speedrunning the game and fragmentation of the community. It seems that as time progresses, these types of changes in games are inevitable. It's an age-old question that some experienced speedrunners are likely aware of. Is speedrunning really about getting the fastest time at all costs, or is it more about the art and sport of playing the games a certain way, which is enjoyable and fair as fast as possible? It has always seemed to me that speedrunning in general needs something of a global committee to keep and prevent it falling into mere technical novelty, such as what has happened to Ocarina of Time. Personally, I agree entirely. I used to suggest a global governing body of speedrunning back in like 2015 and was, harassed off Reddit. I say that jokingly, but kind of seriously. People hated the idea of it, but I agree with BoPeep. And look at Ocarina of Time, what it's become. It's terrible. Technical novelty as opposed to soulful speedrun. BoPeep goes on, but of course, this sort of thing is impossible with the structure of the internet. Why aren't sprinters in 100-meter sprint using jetpacks? Because people respect the nature of the 100-meter sprint. Why aren't people using video capture glasses attached to some AI models to help them win in chess? Because people respect the nature of human versus human chess. When a non-speedrunner watches a modern Ocarina of Time speedrun, their first comment is, why are they allowed to cheat? Or why aren't they playing the game? And these are very good questions in my opinion. It seems to me the nature of speedrunning is not respected, understood, or even agreed upon anymore. Anyways, once I decided to actually post my TWINE records, thanks to your No One Speedruns TWINE video, I believe there was an opportunity to showcase how bizarre it is on the modern internet that communities require you to post videos to YouTube specifically, or participate in a Discord to verify your legitimacy, hence why I used BitChute. It was crazy to me that someone would force another person to sign up for a Google account and Discord account, both of which have insane terms of use, just to post on a leaderboard, even though they had perfectly good video proof. I achieved the time whether I have a Google account or not. Eventually, I decided to move the videos just so they would be more discoverable. Case in point, I can't even access that Google account anymore, since Google doesn't like users using different computers or not associating phone numbers with their account. In any case, many of the comments in your video show that lots of people are beginning to think about platform independence at this time. Of course, nowadays, we do see a growing number of alternative platforms for video sharing, streaming, and text communication, which is a positive thing for all of us. A final reason that I've lost interest in speedrunning is the removal of speedrunners' technical achievements for arbitrary, irrelevant reasons. I've never understood why there's such a tight integration of community and leaderboard in so many speedrunning communities. A leaderboard is no place for character judgment, moral positioning, or politics. In my opinion, it should be an archive of times that have been achieved, nothing more. The recent bannings in the past few years is so pervasive across speedrunning communities that is very disheartening. How can one feel comfortable sharing a record when the moderators just remove it for any reason they see fit? This leads to many people basically being too afraid to participate at all. Great speedrunners who have spent thousands of hours on their craft have their times wiped from leaderboards and essentially from history for nothing related to speedrunning at all. We live in an era where creating leaderboards that are non-deletable is an easy technical act, but instead communities seem focused on trying to construe what others say in an attempt to prevent others from competing at all. So yeah, the decline of creativity, art, and sport in speedrunning, the heavy-handed platform strictness, and the bannings for reasons other than cheating are why I no longer speedrun. Hopefully, this was not too depressing of a read, and maybe it was interesting to you. You might be wondering why I decided to share this with you. Well, basically, it is a demarcation of the end of my speedrunning career, and it will help me move on from it mentally, and I feel like you might relate to some of this. Again, thank you for all you have done for speedrunning itself. speedrun content, and speedrun live streaming. I am happy to go into more depth and answer any questions you may have. Sincerely, BoPeep. This literally stopped me in my tracks. I think Bruce Vane in chat says it sounds a lot like me. And I think it sounds like a lot of us. You know, people who follow me and my content and my career would be more inclined to agree with all of that than, because that's a very similar thing to that I put out, than people who follow, you know, I won't put a name or a face on it, but other speedrunners who aren't about all that. That's a good point, Hideyoshi. You either live as a BoPeep or live as a sheep. But here's the, like, it literally, I literally took 3 weeks to respond to the email. And I was like, I've been so stunned. I can't believe it. I mean, he's revealed that, you know, there's game-breaking knowledge in Twine that I've revealed now for the first time. He's retired from speedrunning. He's emailed me to, I mean, how many times have we heard this? Like, I'm done, man. I'm going to put official retirement, official broadcast out there. It's over. I never want to speedrun again. It's not fun. You know, it's broken. It sucks. We're toasted. You know, pointless. The runs are going to be removed anyways. There's game-breaking stuff. So I exchanged a couple of emails with him in March. Okay? And that's that. Almost when I read it, I was like, this is like the Speedrunner Manifesto. It really is. I might make a main channel video at some point discussing all that and breaking it all down, because it's that significant, I believe. It's the perfect email. It's so everything about it's so, like, he's so well written. His thoughts are coherent. It just, I was staying in a cabin in remote northern Canada at the time, and I got that email, and I just, like, my jaw was on the floor for 3 weeks before I responded. He reveals all that. He quits speedrunning. Does anyone think they see where this is going yet? On April 15th, 2025, BoPeep writes me back. Hi Goose, I hope all is well. It seems that the Twine bug has hit me again. I decide to go for a certain time. Here's the run. BoPeep, April 2025. Turncoat agent. Let's take a look.
Zukowski's driver bully and planted the bomb. Don't let him get away.
Oh, nice, very nice jump. Really good line. BoPeep Turncoat Agent 147 Twine Untied World Record unhoarded live during TWINE SpeedLore. Now that, my friends, is truly remarkable. And BoPeep actually sent me a couple of extra of his runs, and actually a bit of research to help me with TWINE SpeedLore. He said about this run, he knew 147 must be possible after watching Maveloc's tool-assisted speedrun in 2018. We've got to dig that up. I still haven't found it yet. And quickly duping 148 in June 2018 after implementing some of the tool-assisted strategies. I had about 100 148s before getting 147. On multiple occasions, getting 3 completed 148s in a row. Took me a while to decide on the optimal way to play the level, like which strafe directions to use and when to do strafe changes. This run's pretty crazy. For some reason, there are a ton of boosts in it. Usually boosts are so insignificant in Twine, but in this run, they improved the pace of the first half quite a bit. The lowest 148 I had was 148.0, and the 147 is about 0.2 seconds faster than that, meaning it's probably a 147.8. I thought it might be an interesting addition to a future Twine video or something. Take care, BoPeep. Indeed, my friend BoPeep. Indeed, it is an interesting addition to the TWINE SpeedLore. And, yeah, that's that. He sent me a bunch of the videos, like, I didn't mention at the time, but this first 149 he sent me that. This had not been seen before. And the montage that I was playing during reading his manifesto, consists of like 149 and 148 dupes that he got during his grinds. He actually got one that was almost 147, but the VHS tape ran out at the very end. He calls it VHS tape tragedy or something. Crazy stuff. I'll get to like uploading and posting those when I upload the main SpeedLore video to the SpeedLore channel. But that, my friends, is literally it. That is TWINE SpeedLore for you. The return of BoPeep, a guy who said he was done forever and emailed me this manifesto to explain why. A guy who hadn't been seen for 7 years and is very good at covering his tracks on the internet. Send me this 147 to unhoard. And believe me, with this knowledge about how to break the game and some other stuff he's dug up and other stuff I've dug up, TWINE SpeedLore is gonna be sick. And at first I was thinking, like, you know, I'm gonna have to do multiple levels at once. And like that might be the case, but I'm gonna try actually to do like 1 episode per level now. I really am. I think there might be enough to it. Certainly City of Walkways, Midnight Departure, they have it. And some of these other stages, you know, it might get a 30 or 40 minute episode, but it might work, you know. So that's what we have in store for TWINE SpeedLore. Stay tuned. It's gonna be unbelievable, and I think some crazy things are going to happen. So a huge thanks, of course, to the SpeedLore legends, the channel members, all on Patreon on the main channel, and the SpeedLore champions, everyone for supporting my work and SpeedLore all this time. It truly means a lot, especially in those kind of down times when I wasn't posting much of this content. It means the world. You know, always keeps helping the creativity flowing and getting me to a point where I could be doing this episode and hopefully 13 more episodes. You know, at least 6 to 8 TWINE episodes, I think now we're going to be able to do it. So a huge thanks to all of you for your support. It's truly remarkable. It means the world. And I might even start doing these TWINE episodes once every 2 or 3 weeks rather than just 1 a month. So buckle up, baby. I'm going all in on this now. You know, the world's a crazy place. As BoPeep alluded to, I'm going all in on content creation. Buckle up, it's going to be epic. And I could have done it without you all. So my friends, there was episode 1, the Speedrunners Manifesto, TWINE's Turncoat stage. A huge thanks to you all for watching and supporting. Stay true, my friends, and good night.